Hello and welcome to another edition of Training Cookies, where we give you some tasty information on training related news and topics to help keep you informed in your very busy day. My name is Scott and I'm the founder of the Highly Trained Eye, and I love both training as well as cookies if you can't tell. So I'm uniquely qualified to deliver this to you, and let's get started. Today's topic is by request: whatever happened to Six Sigma? For whatever reason, I've been asked this a couple times in the past month or so. One of my favorite comic strips is Dilbert by Scott Adams. And there was one where Dogbert is telling the manager that he needs to implement a Six Sigma or his enterprise is doomed to failure. And the manager looks at him quizzically and says, "Wait, aren't you the same consultant who sold us that worthless TQM program a few years ago?" And Dogbert calmly states right back, "I assure you, this program has a totally different name." To which the manager excitedly exclaims, "When can we start?" I love it. Now, up front, I want to say this is not meant to be a dig on Six Sigma. Well, maybe a little bit, but I have had the pleasure of working with many people who are Six Sigma specialists and really do value their skill set and their approach. So what exactly is Six Sigma? Well, if you're under 30 or not in manufacturing, you may not even have heard of it. At its core, Six Sigma is a system for eliminating defects in manufacturing. The name comes from statistics. Most companies are at, say, 3 or 4 Sigma, which is anywhere from 93 to 99.3% defect-free. Six Sigma cranks that up to the standard of 99.99966%. People trained in Six Sigma are taught how to implement various tools and systems in every step of a process in order to objectively measure how it's working and then analyze that data to determine how to best improve quality. So first, a bit of history is in order. Six Sigma started in manufacturing. Motorola is generally credited with pioneering it on its manufacturing lines in the early 90s, but it didn't really make headlines until General Electric adopted it in 1995. The CEO, Jack Welch, was a huge fan and had it adopted in every business unit imaginable, from HR to recruiting to assembly lines and technology. By 2000, GE had passed Microsoft as the largest company in the world by market capitalization. Fortune magazine named Jack Welch Manager of the Century in 1999, and it seemed the company could do no wrong. Because everyone wanted to be as successful as GE, soon everyone wanted people who knew Six Sigma, and it blew into an industry with all kinds of firms offering certification in the form of black belts, green belts, yellow belts, who knows what other kinds of belts. Mind you, there was no governing body that determined belt criteria, but it didn't really matter. People just wanted the certification. And frankly, if you were a trainer and you got Six Sigma certified, you were the bomb. You could easily command an additional 10 or 15 grand in your salary. So why was it so popular? Well, for one reason, the methodology came along at the right time. When manufacturing, which is a generally mature sector, it was being outshined by all the new dot-coms. Every penny counted, and if you can't find new markets to grow, you need to focus on quality to reduce the cost of errors. In addition, CEOs tend to like Six Sigma because it focuses on continuous improvement based on data. The idea is that data doesn't lie. It's about data-based, statistically grounded information from which real issues can be addressed. It's not as messy as people can be. Numbers are nice and objective. So what happened? Well, a lot of things. I'll highlight 4 of them. First, like any fad, many companies adopted it without really understanding how it was really supposed to be used. Six Sigma was used to define an entire company culture, where its original intention was really to provide a system to detect errors and improve processes. The concept ended up getting lost for teams outside of manufacturing, where figuring out how to apply it became more abstract. You know, I remember the joke began to emerge that the definition of Six Sigma is that it's a system that devotes resources to confirm with data what we already knew wasn't working. That's a bummer because there really is some good stuff about Six Sigma. It's a little funny, but still not good. Second, in some circles, Six Sigma specialists were met with skepticism at best and downright animosity at worst, in training circles in particular. I've known more than one trainer, myself included, that had a certain experience with Six Sigma belt wearers. They're a little cocky, full of themselves, if you will, and were all about the data and little else. Not much in the way of personality. Some companies had trainers who had worked hard developing relationships with their department heads and stakeholders, only to have Six Sigma people be placed over them. There was a stereotype that Six Sigma specialists would identify the problem, but it was the trainers and subject matter experts who had to fix it. Now, this is obviously not everyone's experience with Six Sigma people, but I think it's safe to say that it happened often enough to create a perception that was not all that flattering at times to those Six Sigma specialists. Third, trends change. The focus on quality began to be replaced by innovation and agility, something that frankly Six Sigma is just not known for. Lastly, Six Sigma might still be more popular than it is today if it weren't for the change in fortune for General Electric. Jack Welch left behind a mixed legacy now, and Six Sigma was abandoned shortly after he left the company in 2001. In the years following, several revelations came to light about GE's practices and the pressure it put on its managers, possibly causing them to falsify or at least inflate progress. Which brings us to the present day. GE is still around, although it's a fraction of its former self. Six Sigma is still around, especially in manufacturing. The tools are still very effective and an essential component of process improvement and QC. These days, it's increasingly combined with Lean to create a Lean/Six Sigma hybrid that sounds really interesting. And there are still many firms that offer Six Sigma certification, and as far as I know, they're still getting full classes. Like so many other methodologies that have entered the corporate zeitgeist, total quality management, Lean, Agile, employee engagement, and the like, there's a lot of value in the principles of Six Sigma. But there's a lot of risk when trying to define an entire company culture by it. Some companies have pulled it off, but it takes a lot of effort, constant communication, and resources. Perhaps those resources could be better applied somewhere else. Who am I to judge? Perhaps a company can better be defined by its people or end result, rather than the tools it uses to get there. So that's it for now. If you found this interesting or even mildly amusing, feel free to like or subscribe. I'm not even sure how to do that. My son showed me once, but I know it's not hard and you just click somewhere. We'll talk to you next time, and thanks for listening.